Just 2-3 small concepts and then you're good to go. So what are the different types of numbers?
Uh, Integers, decimal,
Integers,
whole
decimals,
number,
whole numbers.
fractions,
Okay,
rational and irrational numbers.
okay, good. So first is, let's start with natural numbers. So these are the numbers that we use in our day-to-day life to count, normal, natural, that come naturally to us. It's like 1, 2, 3, 1 pen, 2 pen, 3 pen, like that. So we don't count 0.5 pen or -1 pen like that. So these are counting numbers 1, 2, 3. Is my voice clear?
Yes, sir.
Second is whole numbers. So if we include 0 in natural numbers, not the negative terms, but just including the 0, so it kind of completes the series of natural numbers or makes it whole. So that is whole number. Third is negative of these numbers. So integers, we can have -3, -2, -1, and even +1, +2, all this, both infinitely towards the negative or positive. Now you talked about rational numbers or fractions. It's the same thing. There's little difference, we'll discuss shortly. So rational numbers are, what are rational numbers?
Uh, like, yeah, like numbers in the like numbers which can be represented in the form p by q, where q is not equal to zero,
Okay, why is q not equal to 0? What's the issue?
because anything like if q because if the denominator is equal to zero, then the answer is, I think, not defined, like zero something.
Yes. So division basically means, 10 apples divided among 5 people. But if there are no people to collect, it can't hang in the air, right? So that doesn't make
Yes, sir.
sense. It's not defined. Okay. So P and Q both are integers. This is little important. Remember this. Both P and Q are integers. What does integer mean? Both negative, both positive, even 0. Even 0 is also allowed in P and Q, apart from negative values, but Q
Q.
only will not include 0. Rest P and Q, all negative integers, positive integers are allowed. Fine. Now what is the difference between rational numbers and fraction, or they are same? What exactly?
um they're the same.
Hmm? Same. So fraction is basically a
uh,
part of something, 1/3 of something, 1/4 of something. But rational numbers can be -1/3 also.
Fraction
Okay.
can't be negative 1/3.
Fraction, can you have negative half of uh, an apple? Can we have that? Negative half of an apple.
No, sir.
Can we have half of positive half of the an apple? Right. That's possible. Okay.
So in fraction, you cannot have a negative numerator.
Yeah. So it's not negative integer in P or Q, only positive. Okay. And and you can have greater values. You can have 5 by 4 of an apple. What does 5 by 4 of an apple mean? Basically, you have one complete apple and then a quarter of an apple. So 5 by 4. That is allowed. That's okay. But you can't have negative values. Irrational numbers. So the definition, what's the definition of irrational numbers?
Irrational numbers are numbers which cannot be represented in the form
Okay.
of P by Q.
Okay, that's exactly the definition. So simply speaking, which are not rational, they are irrational. Which is not true, that is untrue. It's as simple as. So root 2, root 3, pi, all these values. Now pi is sometimes taken as 22 by 7, which happens to be a rational number, but it is approximated value. 22 by 7 is approximate value of pi. It's not exactly that. And all these numbers are included in real numbers. So the simplest definition is anything that you can represent on a number line, that is a real number. So can you represent half 1 by 3, 1 by 2 minus 1 by 2? Yes. Can you represent root 3?
Uh, I think yes.
Last ninth class we studied, na? Using that compass, we could take
Yeah, oh
root
yeah, we
2
can.
triangle side and then. So it can be root 3 somewhere. Okay, so this is the little bit basics of numbers. Now, the topics that in this are in this chapter are basically the simple what we divide, prime number, composite number, simple things. The difficult topic was Euclid's division algorithm, which is removed. So, which was basically the long division method, nothing complex, but it's removed. So, fundamental theorem of arithmetic is our first topic, and it's again pretty straightforward. It's a sophisticated, name for prime numbers and composite number. That's what it means. So if you know prime numbers, composite numbers, you're good to go. So what are prime numbers, composite numbers?
Numbers which can't be further divided, like doesn't have
Okay,
any factor. Composite numbers are made up of prime numbers. They have factors.
yeah. So basically, you can't have anything. No number can divide that number apart from that number, and of course one. So that is the definition of prime numbers. And composite numbers are made up of multiple prime numbers. Okay.
Okay, ma'am. I mean, okay, sir. Sorry.
Now, this is theorem. Every composite number can be expressed or factorized as a product of primes. Yes. And this is another detail they have added. This factorization is unique. What does this mean? So if you have 6, 6 is a composite number. And what are the prime
This
factors?
like it's always gonna be those prime factors. It can't be other
Ha,
than that.
correct. It's
That's
going to be
what we.
specifically that. Right. So 6 would have always the prime factors would be 2 and 3 only. Oh, it's not. Just give me a moment. Now, for suppose we have 8. So 8 would have 2 into 2 into 2. You will not have any other factor than that specific number, right? That's not
Yes,
possible.
sir.
Just give me, let me restart this. So that is what is this theorem specifying here, that every composite number would have unique factors. The factorization would be unique. Okay, true. And another thing, you could change the order of these numbers. So 6 is 2 into 3, no problem. And you could have the reverse of this, right? But you can't have anything apart from 2 and 3 for 6. That's the only thing. Okay, these would be the same. Now for suppose 12, so 12 would be 2 into 2 into 3, and you can change the order, 3 into 2 into 2 or 2 into 3 into 2, but it's not going to be anything apart from these two prime factors, 2 and 3. All right, so if that's the case, now we'll discuss, although you might think, you probably might know also what is HCF and LCM, but we'll study it from another perspective. And let's see. So what is HCF and LCM? The definition, full form.
LCM is lowest common multiple and HCF is highest common factor.
Okay. Now for this grade, we need to skip these definition as long as possible, because these are confusing definitions, and we have better better ways to gauge what these are. So HCF, first we'll discuss how do we find HCF and LCM, and then we'll discuss what to find, either HCF or LCM in the question. So first let's discuss what to how to find these two. So suppose we are given 6 and 15. So HCF is the lowest powers of all factors. What does that mean? So I would write the factors for this. It is 2 into 3, and I would specify the powers also, because I need to check in order to find the lowest powers. And 15 is 3 into 5. So now here I am specifying 5 power 0, because I need to consider 5 also, because you will shortly know why I'm writing this. And 2 power 0, because that is not present, so I'm writing 1 as 2 power 0. So HCF is lowest powers of all factors. So what are all the factors for this? 2, 3 and 5. 2, 3 and 5 are the factors that we have for both these numbers. Now we have to take lowest. What is lowest of 2 in these two cases? 0. Right?
Yes, sir.
And lowest power of 3 is 1, and lowest power of 5 is
Wait, isn't the lowest power zero
for what?
for anything, for any number?
No, among these numbers, 2 power 1, 3 power 1, 5 power 0. Among these numbers, 6 and 15. In general, it is. Among these numbers. So what is 5? 5's lowest power in these two numbers.
Uh,
5 power, what are the powers? For first case, 5 power 0. For second case, 5 power 1. Which is the lower one? 0.
sir,
Yeah.
the power will be given in the question that 6 is 2 power 1 into 3 power 1 into 5
So
power 0.
you don't know 6 power 6 is 2 into 3, that is 2 power 1 and 3 power 1.
Yeah, sir.
Huh.
Oh,
So we have
sir,
to
I know
specify.
that. Oh,
We have to specify.
oh, okay, sir.
Now LCM would be highest powers of all these values. So highest powers LCM. I will write 2, 3 and 5 because these are all the factors. Now what is the highest power of 2 in this 6 and 15? Just check.
1.
1. And for 3,
Also 1.
for 5 also 1. So 2 into 3 into 5 is 30. So now you can check whether HCF of these two numbers is 3 and LCM is 30. It is true.
Yes, sir.
So little, maybe little new to you, but this is a precise way of doing this. Okay. HCF is lowest powers and LCM is highest powers. Is that okay?
Okay, sir. So what about numbers which are like long composite numbers which
We
have
are, we
a
are
lot
coming to
of
that.
prime numbers?
We are coming to that. So you might have 2 power 2, 2 power 3. Suppose there is a number. Okay, let's take 60. So you would increase 2 power 2 and 5 power 1. And this is suppose 150. So 5 power 2 and 2 power 1. I added 2 power 1 and 5 power 1. 10, na? So 10 is 2 power 1 and 5 power 1. So it got added. Now, what would be the HCF? Lowest powers of all the numbers. So 2's lowest power is 1, and 3's lowest power is 1, and 5's lowest power is also 1. So that happens to be 30. So you just check if HCF is 30 for these two or not. It is 30. Okay. No,
Okay, sir.
or still confused.
No, sir.
Okay. And same goes for LCM. We should take all the highest. We'll do a few questions. You would become more confident here. Okay.
Okay, sir.
This is finding HCF and LCM. So okay. Sixth question.
Sir, so is the answer what we have to find? Yeah, HCF. So the answer is x y square because they are the lowest power.
Y square and
Yeah. No, y square and x.
Yeah,
Option
that's
B.
right. That's correct. Seventh one,
A cube b square. Sir, the answer is a cube b
a
square.
cube
Option C.
c. That's right.
B square.
Or maybe one last question. Eighth one,
Least number. Sir, here we have to find. I think I did this. I think we have to find the LCM, and since we are supposed to find the LCM, so is the answer option D? It's just a guess.
which one?
Option D, I think it's option D because we're supposed to do LCM from 1 to 10 for this question.
Yes. Okay, how to do it
So
exactly? That's correct answer. That's the right answer.
I
How to
think you have
do?
to write all the
Ah,
numbers, and
write,
so
write them, write them, write them.
1 to 3 will be okay.
Write in powers, so you will save some time.
Sir, I think I made a mistake. I'm getting the answer
Okay,
is 360.
let's check. Write in powers, 2 power 2, 2 power 3, like that.
Okay, sir, I got where I made my mistake. Yes, sir, I got 2520.
Good.
But is
Okay,
it
sir.
necessary to write all the powers like into zero? Can't we just
Not
just
in
take the
into
highest
zero is
power?
uh, because it is LCM. None
Or
for
will there be
that it is
some
not.
errors if we
No, for LCM it
don't
won't
take?
be because we want the highest powers.
But
Na
for it
HCF
will
we
be
need.
okay, sir.
HCF we will save some confusion. HCF
Okay.
it's recommended you write it.
Okay, sir.
Prime numbers, composite numbers, brief introduction. Then how do we find HCF and LCM? So HCF is the lowest powers of all the factors and LCM is the highest powers of all the factors, and we tried few things. Now there is a small formula, a relation. If we are given two numbers n1 and n2, any doubts till now?
No, sir. Sir, can I come just 1 minute?
Sorry.
Sir, just can I go to washroom one
Yeah,
minute?
sure, sure. So any doubts till now?
Yes, sir.
Any doubts on the past class?
No, sir.
If we are given two numbers n1 and n2, their product would be equal to the product of their HCF and LCM. So we did this for 6 and 15. So what was the HCF of 6 and 15? 3. LCM was 30. So you can check 90, 90. Yes. Is that okay?
Sir, could you tell what was the method of finding LCM and HCF?
Okay. So HCF we take lowest powers of all the factors. Now we write the numbers 6, 15. We take the factors, prime factors, the smallest ones. Prime means smallest. And then we mark, okay, what's the power? 1, 2, 0, even 0 also, because for HCF we want the lowest powers. So we write all the factors 2, 3, 5 and C. Okay, 2 power 0 is the lowest power 0. And 3 power is 1, minimum is 1 in both the cases 6 and 15. And for 5 it is 0, 5 power 0 in the first case. So 3 power 1 is 3. LCM is highest powers of all the factors. So again we write the factors 2, 3, 5. Highest power of out of the factors in the 6 and 15 is 2 power 1, 3 power 1 and 5 power 1. This is how it is.
Okay, sir.
And this is the relation. Suppose you are not given one number, you are another n2 is missing and says this is 4 into 50, something, just assuming that's the case. So you can find the n2 value. Okay. This is not accurate example, but hope you got the point.
Okay, sir.
So now we know how to find the LCM and HCF, but still it is little tricky to guess what we have to find. Is it the HCF we have to find, or it's the LCM that we need to find in the question? So for that I have some small tips, but which would help you, but it is tricky for the most part. So in HCF we took 6 and 15, so the value was always less than the two numbers, right?
Yes, sir.
And LCM was greater than the numbers
Yes, sir.
6 and 15. So whenever we could sense that the answer is going to be greater than the two numbers, so we have to find LCM. Okay. So suppose
Okay.
there is, you know, one one person is walking in the this steps of 2 meter, 4 meter, 6 meter, like that, and another person is walking in you know uh, maybe 3 meter, like that, 3, 6, 9. So now if I ask when they would meet next, how do we decide after how many meters they would meet next? So the answer is going to be greater than 2 and 3, right?
Yes, sir.
They won't meet at 2, they won't meet at 3, that's for sure. So the answer is 100% sure to be greater than the two given numbers. So what intuitively we have to find here is LCM. Okay.
Okay, sir.
And suppose if I say there is this 5 liter vessel and there is a 15-liter vessel which used for some liquid, maybe petrol, diesel, milk, whatever it is. So I want a measuring container that would measure these two values. It can measure 5 liter also, it can measure 15 liter also. So now would that answer be greater than these two numbers, or would that measuring container would be of a volume less than these two values?
It will be less than these
Less
two
than.
values.
So we have to find HCF. Okay. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. So now based on these things, we'll try a few questions. There are really good questions that have come in boards a lot of times. So let's start that and let's see. First one, just read the question and think what should be done.
First one you have to find HCF.
Yeah. So the stack couldn't be more than 420, right? The Kaju
Yes, sir.
Barfis or Badam Barfis. We can't stack more than 420 Kaju Barfis, any Barfis in one stack. So it has to be less than that. And if it is the value is less than the two given numbers, it has to be HCF. So now it's easy to easy to find. So you can get the factors of 420, write it very clearly, and then get the factors of 130, and then see what is the lowest powers of each of the factors. You try this.
And we get I was huge fan of Shahrukh before he promote Jakir Nalayak. Now it's
So is the HCF 10?
Exactly. How did you find?
I first factorized both of them
Yeah.
and then found the least power of each the numbers.
So what was the factors that you got for this 420 and
Uh,
130?
for 420, I got 2 square into 3 into 5 into 7, and for 130, I got 2 into 5 into 13.
2 into 5 into
13.
okay. So what is the least power?
2 in least power is 2 into 5 into 13 raised to 0 and 7 raised to 0, which is equal to 10.
Okay, that's right. So this is 1, 5, 13 is not there, 5 is not there. We can write this separately. See, this writing 0, initially we might need help of this. Later on you might skip, but initially we need the help of this because we might. This method is little. This not we learned earlier, right? So okay,
Yes,
so 2 power 1, 5 power 2, 3 power 0, and 5 power 0. Wait a minute. What was the first factor? 2 power 2 and 3 power 1 and 7 power 1.
no, 2 power 1, 3 power 1, 5 power 1, and 7 power 1.
Okay, 5 power. Okay,
Wait, no, two squares, sorry.
that's okay. And so lowest is for 2 it's 1, and 3 it is 0, 5 it's 1, 7 is 0, 13 is 0. So okay, second one. We just need to guess what we have to find. You can tie the question yourself later. Just tell me what you have to find.
Since we have to find since the answer, the number of columns will be less than the numbers of members, is
Huh.
it HCF?
HCF. Again HCF. Okay. Now this is, I gave you a shortcut kind of thing to guess this. But if you don't go with this, the problem is it is very confusing. You will see a lot of questions. You might not even understand what to find. So a lot of students ask for, sir, can you tell me some tricks to how do we find, how do we decide whether we have to find HCF or LCM? So therefore, I started sharing this. But if you try to understand also, even that would make sense, but the words are confusing. Least area. So least area, basically you might think we have to find least common factor, right? It might
Yes, sir.
sound like that. And maximum. So maximum number of columns, that you might think HCF, and there are more questions coming up. So although for both these questions it was HCF only, but the words would confuse us. It does confuse a lot of people. Okay, so
Okay.
that's why I shared this. Try the fourth question.
We have to use that one you told LCM into
Right,
HCF is
correct.
sum of the two numbers.
Not sum, product.
Oh, okay, sir. Is it uh, 22,338?
Exactly. So N1 into N2, HCF is given, find the LCM. Okay. Fifth one, just tell me what you have to find LCM, LCF.
Uh, LCM, because the minutes will be more than, because if it takes one round for both of them to cover in this much minutes, then in order to meet them, they'll do more than one round. So the minutes will be more. So LCM.
Exactly. So 12 would not meet 18 in the first go. It has to be at least 2, 3, 4, 10 times, whatever it is. It has to be more than 18. And therefore, the answer would be more than the two given numbers, and therefore LCM. Okay. You solve this later
Okay.
on, but hope you got the point. 10th one.
HCF, because the like it will be less than 45 centimeters,
Just
because we're trying
reread
to
it.
find common.
Reread the question.
Oh, okay. We have to find the LCM
Yes. So it is 40, 45,
because
50 what? So when they would meet a lot more distance than 45 centimeter, right? Even the greatest value out of
yes,
these
yes.
three values. So it may be, 300, 400 centimeter something, but it's greater than these three values. Okay. We'll do the 11th one
Okay.
completely. Just start with that 11th question. You can mark these questions and you can try this, okay? Whatever we are skipping, so that we can save some time.
Oh, okay, sir. 11th question, right?
We'll do 11th completely right now.
Uh, HCF.
Yes, we have to find the HCF, but we have to convert everything to centimeter and then try to find. So make a rough
Uh,
sketch and then try to solve this.
but why we have to convert into like what called
Cent
meter?
meters to centimeter.
Oh, okay, that one. Okay,
Because it is 9 meters, so you might use 9.2, something like that. So to avoid that.
okay, sir. So this 1517, like, is it divisible by any number?
That you have to decide. Try to take some factors, do something. It should be certainly. It might be a big number. You can write the prime values 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, 21, 19, 23, 29, 31, 37, 41, 43, 47. Something out of first 50 values you can get.
Maybe 13,
How much?
13 maybe.
Just check.
So I think it's not divisible by. I think it's a prime number.
So 13 you tried 13, it's not working.
Yes, sir.
Okay, 17 you tried.
It's 21. What?
71, 17, sorry. 21 is not prime. 21 is not prime. 7 into 3. 23, let's see. It's not. You have to check, go on checking, like we don't have any other respite. 1517 divided by 31. No. 1517 divided by 37. Yes. So this is 37 into 41. Just check. I divided by 37.
Sir.
Mhm.
Sir, I'm not able to solve.
You
I'm
could
not
divide
able
by
to get the
37. First one.
yes,
Fifteen
sir.
seventeen.
So I don't know what is
Huh?
451.
151.
No, 451.
No, my question is, could you divide this 1517 by 37? Is that possible?
Uh, Oh yeah, sir. Sorry, sir. I did. I like
Okay.
I was by
What's
mistakenly doing the wrong thing. So I got. So yeah. 1517 can be divisible by 37 and 41. My issue comes in 902.
so
After you
now?
divide it by 2, you get 451. Then I'm just stuck doing prime, like checking if it gets divisible by any other prime numbers.
So you can again go to this only. I mean, for this question, I did the hard work, but you could check out of these. If it is, then that's the HCF. Just check out of these. Anything out of these could divide this 902. Just check.
Sir, can you repeat?
You could check if 902 is divisible by 37 or 41. Because there are only two factors of 1517. Now, if no factor is common out of 37 and 47, 41, then we can skip. HCF is 1.
Okay, sir. 22.
How much?
Sir, 22.
22.
Yes, sir. 22 times 41 equal to 902.
Okay, so 2 into 11 into 41. We want everything in prime factors. So now what is the HCF? HCF is the least
Uh,
powers.
so 31 into 0. So, sorry, I mean 41 into, yeah, 41. That's all. That's the HCF.
Now in the exam, when you will write, if you use this 2 power 0, 11 power 0, it might confuse the examiner. Okay, so don't try to avoid using this, although this is valid, but sometimes it might confuse because that's less used. It's not that common, although it's there, but somehow it happens to be the case. So uh, don't write this 2 power 0, 11 power 0. You can just write it in your rough column. Make a rough column wherever you would do the rough stuff, and there you from there you directly write, HCF is 41, like that. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
I mean, some might allow, some might not. So why take risk? He or she would see, okay, what is this 0 power 1, 5 power 0, sorry, 2 power 0, 5 power 0. So it might not make sense, though it should. 12, what should we find?
Sir, HCF.
HCF. 12th one, HCF.
Yes, sir.
Okay, what's the question asking?
Three rods, 64 centimeter, 80 centimeter, 96 centimeter. And length, you need to find the length of the cloth, and that can be measured in exact number of times. Uh, I thought it was HCF because it said least, and till now, whichever person had least, it was HCF.
That's what is the confusion. Don't go with these words. I mentioned na, these are confusing. See, can you measure any value less than these measuring this thing?
No, sir.
It's not
No, sir.
marked. Okay, if it was marked, 5 centimeter, 10 centimeter, then it's different thing. But it is not marked. They're just saying that this is the length 64 centimeter, 80 centimeter, 96 centimeter. So can we measure anything less than, say, suppose 30 or 10 or 20 using any of these?
No, sir.
And that is first thing. And second thing is probably you don't go for cloth shopping and all. See, the cloth would be a few times, right? 1 meter, 2 meter, 3 meter, like that. So it should be longer than the measuring tape, measuring rod. It can't be less than that, isn't it? For the most part.
Yes.
So the length of the cloth is more. So the value has to be more than these three values. Is that making sense or no?
Yes, sir. It's making sense.
So don't go with these words. I I knew this is tricky for the most part. Least, maximum, it is confusing. Now here also minimum distance, it might sound that you have to find a part of this 44, so HCF minimum. But you didn't find HCF. It was LCM when they would meet next. It has to be maybe 300 centimeter, 400 centimeter. Any value greater than these three values, right? 40, 42, 45. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. So we have to find LCM here. 12th question. You try this question yourself. These are interesting questions. 13th. Just tell me what we have to find.
Sir, LCM.
Yes. So when they meet next, yes, any value greater than that, and it is in it's in a clock time. Okay. So we have to see. Suppose it was 300 seconds. Suppose their LCM came out to be 300, assuming. So you have to divide it by 60. So it would be 5 minutes. So 10:05 would be the answer. Although it is not correct, I'm just pointing it out. AM. Okay.
Okay, sir.
14th.
Sir, same LCM.
Exactly. Same LCM. है ना? When they meet next. All right. So HCF LCM questions are done. We are left with 2, 3 questions regarding composite numbers and this, and then this prove this irrational. We will continue in the next class. That's half an hour topic. We'll complete that next time. So let us try the question 15. We should have done this as the first question of the chapter, but anyway, it's easy question.
Explain why. is a composite number. Do you have to solve it or we have to just write?
You tell me. See, we can solve it. Suppose so upon solving, you get 1060, although it's not correct. So it you can show some 2 3 factors, not 2 into 5 into 7 something. So it has more
Yes,
than
sir.
one factor apart from one and the number itself. So it
Yes.
is composite number.
So
But
should we just
huh?
directly say that because there's more than one prime factor present in the
Right. So they
equation,
are
we
all
can say that
huh.
it's
They are already giving you this hint. So take 13 common. What are you left with? 7 into 11 plus 1. So 13 into 78. So there are clearly two factors. So why go for 1060? Complete multiplication and solve it. 1060 is made up
okay.
number, but you get the point, right?
Yes, sir.
Same goes for this also. You take maybe 5 is common. You multiply the inside values left in the bracket and you go. Okay. This is important. Probably you might get somewhere. Read this last two questions.
Uh, uh,
So a number ends in digit 0 is the
if it
case
has
when
10,
it has 10.
if it has 10,
And 10
10
means not only 10, it could be multiples of 10. So 2 and 5's powers, it could be same powers or different powers, right? So I'm writing it, n
if
and m.
one of them is missing, then
Correct. So if any one of the, so now mind one thing, n and m are natural numbers. What does natural number means? You can't take 0. You have to start with 1 2 3 like that. Because if you have suppose 7 maybe 35, okay. So 35 has 5 power 1 and 7 power 1, and we can write 2 power 0 also. But this is not natural number. 2 power 0 is not natural number. Isn't it?
yes, sir.
You getting this? Why I am saying natural
But
number?
sir,
And
16,
huh, tell me.
no, sir, sorry.
N and M are natural numbers. And there's a specific reason for this.
Okay.
You can't write 2 power 0. So 4 power n is what? We can write it as 2 into 2 power n, which is 2 power 2n basically.
Yes, sir.
And 2 power 2n has only 2 power a natural number, because 2n is, they have given n is a natural number. N is a natural number. Or 2 power 2n is there, but there is no 5 power anything. And we can't take 0. It has to be a natural number. Therefore, it's not going to end in a 0. Now, how to write this? First is you write these steps, get the factors. Second thing, it's not in the form of 2 power n into 5 power m, and mention specifically n and m are natural numbers. This is how we have to write this complete thing. First, split the factors. Second line is this. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Last question for today.
Sir, no, because its factors are not two. Like it doesn't has five in its factor,
So,
and you require both them because they are natural numbers. I mean, not
it's not,
natural
5
numbers.
is not there. But we have to say it's not in the form of 2 power n and 5 power m. N and m are natural numbers, and we have to show is it true? So 2 into 3 power n is equal to 2 power 3 and 2 power n and 3 power n. Now again 5 is missing.
Yes, sir.
5 power m is missing. Therefore it is. Alright.
Okay.
Although you might understand it is, you can check, okay, 4 power 1, 4 power 2, 4 power 3. You might sense it, but you have to write. This is the way to write it.
Okay,
Okay.
sir.
There are few things that we need to clear first hand. First thing is, if suppose we have a number, suppose 9 square. So 9 square is divisible by 3. So can we say that 9 is also divisible by 3? Is that true? Is that true?
Sir, yes, because 18 is divisible by 3, so
Okay. So if p square is divisible by a number a, p is also divisible by a. This is the first thing. Second thing is, um, the meaning of coprime. So what is coprime? Coprime means there is, suppose a and b are coprime, 2 and 3. So they have no common factor. That is what coprime means. And third thing is, if
okay, sir.
suppose if I say a number is divisible by 3, so suppose x is divisible by 3. So can I write that as product of 3 in terms of maybe y, 3 into y, some number integer? Yes.
Uh, yes, sir. Because x is divisible by 3.
Huh. Either divisible by 3 or we
Sir,
can
I'm
say
a little
multiple of 3.
confused.
Confused with what?
Okay.
So suppose if I say x is 30. So can I write x as 3 into some number y, 3 into 10? Can I write like that?
Yes, sir.
So it's just another way of writing things, x is equal to 3 times some other constant value. Okay. So if these three things are clear, let us go to how we prove this rational, irrational, not rational. So suppose we have to prove root 3 is irrational. So there are few steps involved, and we need to remember these steps, and you should be able to follow individual steps, and then I would summarize that what we exactly did. So there is a method in mathematics that is called proof by contradiction. So what is this? This is, we will pick something that is not true, we'll assume it to be true, and then we'll follow a series of steps and prove our assumption being wrong. And if assumption was wrong, the original case was wrong. So I will just start with this, and then you will understand. So assume root 3 is a rational number. Now we'll refute this. We'll follow some procedure steps, and then we'll refute this. So if root 3 is rational, we can write that as p by q form or a by b form, right? Is that okay?
Yeah, yes, sir.
So if this is true, so can I write P is equal to root 3 times Q and square this? Would that be okay?
Yes, sir.
Now if you notice, P square is a multiple of Q square. So P square is divisible by 3.
Yes, sir.
Is that, if P square
So
is divisible
then
by
all
3?
P is also divisible by 3.
P.
Like, is it like that?
Yeah. So I'm writing this P divisible by 3 as a product of some other value. So 3 into maybe 3s. S is integer. Okay, can we do that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now again I will square this, squaring both sides. So I will get P square is equal to 9s square. Is that okay? Right now just focus on individual steps. If you are able to understand or not why we are doing exactly this, I would summarize. But are the steps clear? That should be your focus right now.
Yes, sir.
So P square is equal to 9s square. Here this was first, this is second. So from 1 and 2 I can write 3q square is equal to 9s square. Simplifying this, q square is equal to 3s square, and then q square is also divisible by 3.
Okay, sir.
And if q square is divisible by 3, q is also divisible by 3. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, what is the problem? Q is also divisible by 3, P is also divisible by 3. But what we said is root 3 was, we assumed it to be rational. That means P and Q should be no prime, should be co-prime, right?
Yes, sir.
So now our assumption is wrong.
Yes, sir.
These are the exact steps that we need to write. I'll just summarize, then you can note it. Okay, so let's summarize this. First, we assume that root 3 is rational. So I wrote that as P by Q. I simplified it a bit and I squared this side. So I got P square is equal to 3Q square. P square is divisible by 3 and therefore P is also divisible by 3. And P is divisible by 3. I can write that as P is equal to 3S, right? A product of 3 into S. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Now I square this thing. P square is equal to 9s square. Second equation from 1 and 2. Q square is equal to 3s square. Q square is divisible by 3. Q is also divisible by 3. P and Q are not they are not co-prime, and therefore our assumption was wrong. Done.
Yes, sir.
So you can note this. You noted or you want to note?
Sir, I'll note it.
You noted.
No, no, sir. I'm noting it. Sir, can you move down?
And you you should write this as divisible. I have written division sign. You should write q square is divisible by 3. Q is divisible by 3. I just wrote that in short.
Yes, sir. Then I noted it down.
Now, if it is any other form, suppose 5 minus root 3, these type of questions. So, suppose it is for 3 marks. I mean, this question is for 3 marks. So, first we should prove root 3 is irrational using the procedure that we just did, and then come to this question. So, 5 minus root 3 is equal to p by q, assuming 5 minus root 3 is a rational number. Then what we have to do is keep everything that you know for sure is rational. I mean, we already know what is rational here, na? 5 p by q, that is rational, and everything else that is irrational on other side. So 5 minus p by q is equal to root 3. Okay, is that all right?
Which question I have to do?
We are doing this 19th. So we have to show that 5 minus root 3 is irrational. All right.
19. Okay. Maybe.
Am I
Sir,
audible?
what we have to take in our. Sir, you're
Is my
audible,
voice
sir. Hello.
okay? So 5 minus root 3, this is the question. 5 minus root 3 is p by q. Then we'll take every rational thing that we know on one side, we'll keep it on one side, and the irrational values on the other side. So 5 minus p by q is equal to root 3. Is this step clear? Yes, no?
Should I rejoin again?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, sir, now I can hear you. Yes, sir, what do you say?
I was saying that first we assumed it to be a rational number. 5 minus root 3 is a rational number. This is our first step, right? And then 5 minus p by q is equal to root 3. We are taking everything rational to one side and irrational to the other side. Fine.
And then since we know that the root is irrational,
Right.
5 minus root 3 is irrational.
So it's little different. It is the same thing. So what happens is on the LHS, everything is rational, and on right side we have irrational. So that is not possible. Therefore, there was some problem with our assumption, right? So our assumption was wrong. And therefore, 5 minus root 3 is not rational. Okay.
Sir, could you show how to do question number 21 and 22?
Yeah, we are coming to that.
Or, I mean, question number.
We are coming to that. So question 20, what do you have to do? 3 root 2 is equal to P by Q. Assume it to be rational. And then how do you keep everything rational to one side and other things to the other side? How do you do that?
Sir, one scene, I'll note it down. Yes, sir, I noted it down.
Now tell me what to do.
For which question? Question number 20.
Yeah.
First,
And
we
see,
have
and one
to
thing,
prove.
see, one thing is there, if it is for 3 marks, first you should prove root 3 as irrational separately. That is our
Okay.
first step, okay? But if it is for 2 marks, you can do this. And just simplify it a bit also, phi q minus p by q. And then you write rational is not equal to irrational. Okay.
Okay. So first, we have to prove uh, root 2 is irrational. Assume
Huh,
it to be like p by in the form of p by q, and
huh,
then prove that p and q have a common factor. Hence, root 2 is irrational.
huh, right, right. So root 2 is, we can prove, you know the procedure. Next, what is the next step?
Then again assume 3 by root 2 is a by b, where root 2 is
Huh,
irrational, and then send the 3 like at the RHS side. So
huh.
then root
How
2
do
is
we do
equal
that?
to p by like root 2 is equal to p by 3q.
So now,
But we know
we,
that root 2 is irrational, so it can't be written in the form p by q. So 3 by 2, 3 by root 2, 3 into root 2 is irrational.
21.
So 21, we have to first prove root 2 is irrational, and then assume in the form of p by q. Then I think but yeah, I think we can do like this, right? Root 2 is then equal to q by p. Is it like that?
Could you repeat?
We can root 2 is equal to q by p.
Yes.
Is it correct?
So
Yeah.
if you
Okay.
take 2 by 3, it's rational, and 3 by 2, that is also rational, right? Okay. So now you try this question. You have to prove this. And now you might be thinking we could prove root 2 and root 3 separately and then say, okay, the sum is also going to be irrational for two irrational numbers. But that's not the way. We have to take this as 1 and then prove it. So just think about it, what can be done. Although this is given, but we can't take sum is irrational.
So both the root it is given to us that they both are irrational.
Huh.
Uh, then we can prove one by one, right? Then we can say then we can first take root 3 to the other side, so it becomes root q is equal to a by b minus root q.
Very good.
So
Next.
since we already, yeah, and then you can do the same thing with root 3. Then you can take root 2 to the other side. So since both of them are irrational, they cannot be put given in the form of p by q. So there
No,
is
but root 3 is not rational, right? So you are doing a by b minus root 3. This is rational minus irrational. So rational minus irrational could be irrational. That means it is true. That means it is rational.
uh,
Okay, square these two things. Square this thing, root to this thing on both sides. What do we get? And then
p
simplify.
plus q equal to a
Okay,
square plus
we took
b
a by
square.
b. We took a
But
by b. So a minus a by b whole square plus root 3 whole square minus 2 into a by b into root 3. A minus b whole square, right? That identity.
sir, what's that minus? Oh, a minus b. But
Uh,
for what a minus b? This thing 2 into a by b into root 3 from where we got.
what?
2
What do you ask?
into a by b into root 3, where did we got?
A minus b whole square, na? This is a, this is b. How do we do a minus b whole square? A square plus b square minus 2 into a into b, right?
But
Or you can take x
where
minus
we
y if
got
you are
a minus?
confused. Just a moment. If you are getting confused, just assume it to be x minus y whole square. So this is x, this is y. X is a by b. So x square plus y square minus 2 into x into y. Does that sense? Make sense?
Sir.
We squared this both side, na?
But how did we got?
We squared these things.
So which side? A by b square. But then it will be a square plus b square.
A
Wait.
square,
Uh,
still confused.
little bit, sir.
A by b minus root 3 whole square. How do you solve this? It is x minus y whole square. So a
Okay,
x
it was the
square
whole square. Okay, sir, I got it.
whole square. So 2 is equal to, I'm simplifying this, taking the LCM etc. A square plus 3b square minus 2ab root 3 by b square. Just see if that is okay.
Yes, sir, I got it.
Take b square to that side and take everything else apart from root 3. So we'll get 2b square minus a square minus 3b square is equal to minus 2ab root 3, right? Is that okay?
Sir,
And now if we divide minus 2ab both sides, what do you get? Everything on this side would be a rational number, right? And this would be root 3, irrational. Is that correct? Yes? No?
yes, sir.
Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. So this was the thing, and you can try this question, right? I mean, that as homework. It's the same question we just did. 25, 24, this you can try yourself. 26, case base.